Alright guys, welcome to the Rocky Fern. My name is Luca and I have OI type 4. If you're new here, we do all kinds of cool videos about keeping succulents and aroids here in beautiful Hawaii. We do all kinds of other cool stuff, diving, hunting, all kinds of stuff. So today we're going to be doing a repotting of a new shipment I just got in from BarTrop Tropicals, and mostly Anthuriums with one Philodendron. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so we are going to be doing a repotting. I'm going to start with, I think, the smallest first. So this is the Anthurium red chrystallinum, and because it's so small and I have such good luck with pond, I think I'm going to repot it into a pond mix. The leaves are a little bit soft and the roots are so delicate that I'm going to just hurry and get it into a pond mix. So we'll put that to the side. I'm going to be using a, what is that, an 8-ounce Dixie cup. I've drilled a hole into it for drainage, and so what I do is I'll just freely water it until it pours out, and I'll feed every other feeding or every other watering. Typically during the winter time, I'll only water once a week. Summertime, and if it's a bigger plant, I could water up to 3 times a week using a pond mix. So I think that will be a good starter pot for this Anthurium red chrystallinum. So let's get into that. So what I'll do first is pour in my homemade pond mix, which I've gone over several times, but it's lava rock, pumice, zeolite, horticultural charcoal, and that's it. So pour it in here, and I don't pre-rinse my pond mix. I haven't had an issue, so I'm gonna put the plant in like this. I want to be very delicate here, as you can tell, because I went quiet. That's how you know. Okay, so very carefully. And actually, before we do that, I'm going to hit it with a mycorrhizal inoculant and fill it up here. And then I'll tap it in and get it around the roots. Support that plant. Settle it in. And then I'm also going to grab a slow release fertilizer. Okay, so being a seedling, we're going to do just 8 to 10 slow release fertilizer pellets. And then I'm going to water this in until it pours out the bottom. And the initial drain is always going to be dark because of all the silt, but that should be plenty good. Make sure we put in the label, and in about 2 weeks I'll do an update on this shipment and we'll see how they're doing, but hopefully this guy kicks butt. Alright, next one, we're going to do the only philodendron in the whole shipment, which is a Philodendron nangaritense. And for that one, I think I'm going to keep it inside the same pot, which is a 2-inch square pot, but I'm going to change out the medium to my homemade aroid mix. So for that, we're going to dump this out. And this has a very nice root system on it. But it's mostly, it looks like coconut coir and large perlite. And so I'm going to switch over to mine. And I'm also going to hit it with that mycorrhizal inoculant. Now, not all plants form a beneficial or mutualistic relationship with the mycorrhizal fungi, but if it does, it's very beneficial, and if it doesn't, it's not going to hurt. So make sure to add it to the roots. And then what I'll do is, here's the difference in Mine has cocoa coir or cocoa chunks, horticultural charcoal, pumice, homemade compost, and so I'd much rather that than this. So we're going to put this to the side, fill it in a little bit, and then I'm going to put the plant in. And we'll add it in like that. Tap it in to get it all around the roots. Much like this. Get behind that plant really well. Lift these leaves out of the way. And that should be a happy plant here in 2 weeks, and we will follow up just to make sure. This mix also has lava rock in it. Like that. Let's get the label in. Let's get a little drink in it, just how it pours out the bottom. Watering a newly planted root or newly planted individual plant is important too, because it helps settle those roots and get all the air pockets out of there that aren't necessarily important. So this should help jumpstart this plant to a nice healthy start. Okay, the only philodendron that we have is out of the way. Now we're going to go on to the Anthurium lappoanum. So this guy is unique because it came in leca. Now I really only use leca for my aquaponics setup, which I'll do a video later on and show you that setup, but we grow a lot of veggies out of that system. But since this is kept in leca, I'm going to keep it in leca and just see how well it goes. So it also has a lot of rock wool in it. So I'm going to use the same 12-ounce tumbler. I've drilled a hole in it like I would if I was using pond, and I'm going to fill it up with some leca. This also has pumice in it, and this comes from a very established aquaponics setup. So it's full of all kinds of nitrifying bacteria. It's got a huge bioload inside of it already. And then what we'll do is we'll take it out of here, nice and easy, and try to take off this rock wool. Rock wool in itself isn't bad, but I don't like the look of it, so I'm going to get rid of it. And there's one little here from the plug. Okay. And then, of course, I'm going to hit it with the mycorrhizal. And I'm going to just do a little bit less. Kind of want those roots to be all the way down like that. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll start topping it with the leca. Get it settled. And finish it off here. Get rid of that. Okay, and then tap it to get it all put away. Any leca that doesn't want to stay in doesn't have to. And then of course I'm going to hit it with some slow release fertilizer. Not a lot. And then same thing, we're going to hit this until it pours out the bottom. And because I'm doing the reservoir, it should always be humid in here, which is perfect. So that is the Anthurium lappoanum. Make sure that goes in. And that will be a first for me, growing an Anthurium in leca. So let's see what we have. Okay, so this plant is the Anthurium forgeti. And let me just make sure this gets all soaked up and put to the side. This is interesting. It has a lot of orchid bark, like fir bark in it, in this mix. So we are going to change that to my aroid mix. let's just get a look at these roots. Okay. Like other anthuriums, has thick hairy roots. You can see that, but a really good root structure. Some of these are dead roots and some of them are live healthy roots. So for now I'm not going to cut any away, but what I will do is put that bark to the side, fill this up with some orchid mix, some aroid mix, and hit it with some inoculant. Again, not all plants develop a relationship with mycorrhizal bacteria, fungus, but when they do, it's a huge benefit to them, so you might as well try to use it. And if they don't, it's not a big waste, even if they don't use it. So, okay, so then we're gonna hit it with this. Get it settled in there. Okay, and then what I think I'll do is I'll use this orchid bark as a kind of a top dressing slash filler to get it in there. And that's it. That's our forgetii or forgetti Anthurium. And I'm also going to just do a quick little water in here. You want to see it to come to the bottom, I feel. So I'm going to water it till it comes to the bottom like that. Hit it with the label. And we'll see what happens in a couple weeks. Alright, here's another cool one. This is the Anthurium arisaemoides. And it's an awesome trilobe Anthurium. So you can see that trilobe right there. And I believe it is a climbing Anthurium, so that's going to be really cool with those leaves. That's the first trilobe it's given on this particular plant. So let's see what we have here. I remember from the unboxing this had a heck of a root structure, so that's cool. And here we are. Yes. Wow! When I said heck of a root structure, look at that. Holy cow. That's cool. Here's an old leaf. Maybe we'll leave that on there since it doesn't want to come off. And man, that's a lot of root for that little 2-inch pot. I wonder if I should keep this pot or change it. You know what? With the amount of roots we have here, I'm going to change it to a bigger pot. So one sec. Okay, so we're going to use this 4-inch pot. We're going to recycle this moss. And I'm going to put that in the bottom to act as a filter or a screen to prevent the aroid mix from falling out. I'm going to fill this up, hit it with the old mycorrhizal mix here as soon as I get it in. Okay. And hold it right here in the middle. Wow. That is a big root structure for this plant. I wonder if that's typical of this plant. Having big long roots. Or is it just because BarTrop Tropicals is freaking awesome at raising anthuriums? I'm going to say it's probably the latter, to be honest, but alright, top it off here, get the label inside, and we'll just do a little quick water. Actually, I'm going to hit it with some slow release fertilizer too. And I realized I didn't hit the forgetti with slow release fertilizer, so I hit that. I'm going to hit that guy, and then we'll hit this guy too. Okay, water him, get him rooted, happy, and we'll see what he looks like in a couple weeks as well. And then we have this big guy, the magnificum. Ah, she's so awesome. This magnificum is so cool because not only are the leaves super, super pretty, I don't know if you can see how velvety they are. There you go, kind of get a nice little sheen. Green veining, square petioles, which is so cool in itself. Has like a nice little ribboning to the petiole. I'm going to get that in frame here. There we go, you can see that ribboning. And then just the amount of roots in this thing is crazy. So let's see if we can pull it out. I kind of loosened it up earlier. We're going to slowly shake it out here. Oh, wow. You want to see roots. Look at that. Holy cow. That is all roots. So, I don't think I'm going to break this apart. Normally I would kind of loosen these roots up a little bit. And I might loosen them, but I'm not going to try to, I'm not going to break any. I'm a little hesitant to do that right now. But the roots are actually growing back up. I'm going to try to loosen some of them. Wow. That thing is awesome. How long did you guys have this thing? I got like the old grandpappy. And I love it. That is so cool. Okay. I bet you anything this thing puts out a flower this year. That is so cool. Okay, so let's hit it with some of that inoculant. You gotta hit it on the roots, of course, get it inside. And then I have a 6-inch pot that I, again, put moss in the bottom. And that should be perfect. And so then let's hit it with some of this. Get that settled. And when you're doing a pot like this where the root ball is pretty shaped or pretty rigid, you're gonna want to put the mix in on one side, the substrate on one side, then do the opposite, and then move on to the other side here. And then we'll go do the opposite side. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll try to get all this to settle in between. And this is going to take a little while just because the amount of roots that are in there and how thick my aroid mix is. Let's get rid of that moss. Wow, this thing is gorgeous. Okay. All right. And then, while this isn't a dramatic uppotting, it is sufficient. So we should have to repot next year, but maybe even less than a year, but you know what? That's fine with me. Looks like I'm being a little rough with it, but just helping that substrate settle in between the roots. Let's get a slow release fertilizer on there. And I also do a liquid feed, but it's a very, very diluted liquid feed. And so far I've had great results. But let's get a nice big water in there. Let's not forget the label on this awesome magnificum. And there we go, you guys. We've done 5 anthuriums in different medium. We have the pawn for the red chrystallinum. We have 3 that are in, actually 4 that are in my aroid mix, and then we have an experimental leca. So let's do a review here in 2 weeks and kind of see what we have, all right? Until then, if you like what you see, make sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next adventure.